Hey, well, it's review time again, but I'm with a unique locomotive this time. As you can see, it's made by Bachmann, and it's a class D11/2. Is it a slash or is it a line? I don't know, don't care. But for now we'll call it the class D11. I'm sure it's /2, but doesn't matter. Anyway, and this is a Scottish locomotive. Okay, there's a bit of dust there. But interestingly, even though this was a Scottish locomotive, it was designed, well, actually it was an LNER locomotive. And apparently it was designed by Sir Nigel Gresley, or Gresley for short. And these being Scottish locomotives, they are found all over parts of Scotland. And these were passenger locomotives. And the last were drawn in 1958 in September, and in January 1962. And the class was allocated to Edinburgh depots at Haymarket and St Margaret's, and some others being as far as Newcastle and Aberdeen. And only one of these is in preservation today. So at least somebody actually used their brains to preserve one of these locomotives. But anyway, as you can see, this class D11 is number 62690, and it's in BR black lined with the early emblem, as you can see there. And this one is called the Lady of the Lake. Wow, an absolute gorgeous name for a gorgeous locomotive. And this was a Christmas present, by the way, and I'm only just getting round to opening her up. And she's special as well, because this is the first 2012 model that I have bought. Why, you may ask? Well, you see, those others I wanted first before I considered getting a 2012 model. And this is the first one. Wow. Just look how stunning this looks. But let's get it open and have a look at it in closer detail. So here's the box cover. Now I won't bother with the info on the background because I've already looked at it, and it's the usual brief history. Then we take this plastic shell out, and then we have a look at the instructions and all the other paperwork. So here's the Bachmann Collectors Club leaflet, and there's the warranty service request and the product maintenance and care and the product warranty. And here is, well, on this side it's basically the body assembly. I won't talk about this because I've done so a lot of times in Bachmann Loco reviews. And on the back it's basically fitting the chip, the body removal, running in, lubrication, and fitting the details on. So it's all there, which is very good. And then here's the locomotive, locked away in this big plastic shell. And I bet the locomotive doesn't like this. It's probably going, "No, get me out." Relax, calm down. And there we go. That was quite tight. And then here we have the details. So here's one of them, where it looks like something that looks like lips. That does, doesn't it? These bits of plastic. Excuse the rude airliner going over. I think there may be cab doors, I'm not sure. And we also get some buffer beam detailing, and stuff that resembles loco tools, such as, for example, there's a shovel. Quite interesting. Then here, if you just fold this bit of tape over, we have two very small screws that are nearly almost the size of pinheads. And then here we have some more bag of details. We get More interestingly, we get brake rods, a brake pipe, and we even do get some loco tools in here like sticks and shovels. And that's not very often Bachmann supply you with them. And then also we have this curious bit of plastic here that looks like a big wedding ring, if that's what you want to call it. I'm not entirely sure what it's for. I doubt very much it's for the chip, but I honestly don't know what it's for, because I've never had these supplied with a loco before. So if any of you know what it's for, do let me know, because I'm very curious of it. Is it for sound? DCC sound? I don't know. Well, it shouldn't be, because as far as I know, this locomotive I have here isn't DCC fitted. And these usually come with DCC fitted locos, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, now we get the locomotive out, but before we do, there's a little caution. Just turn it that way, because we're turning around the wrong side. The locomotive and tender are linked. Please lift both together from the packaging tray. Interesting. Very interesting. Right. We'll bring it into shot. And there we go. See? Now don't worry, lady, you can now have a breath of fresh air. Well, the top of the plastic definitely doesn't want to stay down. So we'll lift her out together, like it said on the caution, and then we'll get rid of this, and then we'll bring the locomotive back in shot. Right, several hours later, and I've chopped her in half. Nah, I haven't really. See, what I had to do is, see this little pin, I had to disconnect it from the tender, which wasn't very easy, and I'm sure it's like this with every other locomotive you get that's like this, that has that pin. But basically you have to take the pin out and take one of these wheels off, which just lift out basically to get the socket out. If you know what I mean, just put it like that, the plastic, and it doesn't break. Nope, I can tell you. And then the wheel just comes out, and that's how you get the socket out. So that's how you do it. But anyway, let's get this show on the rails. Because to be fair, let's get this show on the road doesn't really apply here, does it? Because, well, this doesn't run on the roads, does it? But anyway. So firstly we have sprung buffers on the front there, which is very nice. There's also a coupling at the front, and it is NEM. As you can just see the socket there, which is good, because you can take it out if you want to. There's also a nice flimsy bogie wheel at the front there. There's also a horizontal brake pipe on the buffer beam there, and a hole for where the coupling nut goes. And also, D11 is printed on the buffer beam, as well as Haymarket. So I'm guessing that's where this loco was based, but I'm not sure. There's also some lamp irons on the front there of the frames. There's also a small handrail at the front there on the locomotive, and another lamp iron. As you can see, there's the number plate 62690. And there's also a shed plate here, 64B. I know it's obviously going to be a Scottish shed. Maybe this was the one for Haymarket, but I don't really know much about Haymarket itself though in real life. There's also some riveting around the smoke box door as well, just look at that. And there's even rivets on the smoke box door as well, as you can see. Also, we've got the what's known as the smoke box door dart pin on the front there, which is very nicely detailed. The smoke box door doesn't open, but does it really need to when this locomotive is detailed enough? There's also some footsteps, as you can see there, and there where the cab is. Also there's these, which are the sanding gear, I'm inclined to believe. It is made of metal, I think. Not 100% sure, but it's very tough. As you can see, that's where the brake rods go. There and there. You've just moved my finger out the way. There's also some handrails around the back here. And also glazing in the cab windows. Of course I'd be filmed not to use glazing. And I like how there's gold paint around the windows there, the side there. That's really good. And there's another handrail here. As you can see, there's a number 62690, and the classification is 3P. Basically, P stands for passenger, we all know that. MT is mixed traffic and F is for freight, but there's no E that stands for express. That's a bit weird. Also, the lining around the side of the number there is crisply applied. And just look at the lining as well on the frames, the red and white lining. And the just plain red lining that goes around the boiler there. That is just really amazing. We also have a little turning wheel there, which I do believe is to do for the sanding gear, but I'm not 100% sure. There's also a little grab iron there, if you can just about make it out. Also, I love how you can see the other side under the locomotive's boiler there. Just look. As you can see my finger on the other side. Woo. Also, there's the reversing lever that goes down the side, which is very nice. There's also lots of rivets on the cab. There's just an awful lot of rivets, countless thousands of rivets on the locomotive. Wow. Also, the chimney is very well detailed. And there's even rivets around the side here, as you can see. And there's the dome, which is very nice. Now, there's no side rods or valve gear or link... Well, there is side rods, actually. But what I mean is there's no valve gear or link motion. But, to be fair, in real life, there was no valve gear or link motion on the locomotive. It just had side rods. But it still did the job. Also, if we turn the locomotive around to this side, being very careful, there's some more rivets on the side of the boiler there, the safety valves, and the whistle. Just look at that for a whistle. Wow. And there's the handrails that go down the side of the locomotive, and they bend round to the top of the smoke box there. And that's not every model where you get the handrail that goes round to the front of the smoke box door there. So that's really good. And just look at all the rivets on the top of the frames. Have you ever seen so many rivets before? Because I haven't. And the incredible detail does not stop there. Look at this. Ta-da! The cab is painted. Just look at all that. You've even got some more rivets in there at the back. You have the camel focus. You've got the pipes, the gauges, the dials, and all those other little turning wheels as well, and the lever, and some handles as well. And you can't forget the seats. And there's the wooden floor as well, which is nicely painted. Yep, that's right, these locomotives in real life did have wooden floors, which is not something you'd see normally on locomotives. And I just love how they've actually painted it to look like wood, as you can see. It's better off at this angle though, really, because of the shadow, but it is there. And the inside of the cab, it's painted like a cream white. That is just really impressive. And you can't forget the weight. It's very, very heavy. And I mean very heavy. But that is good. Weight is important. That's what we want. We want the weight. And also there's red lining down the side here on the wheel covers. Well, splashes actually, which is what I think they're known as. And you've got the Lady of the Lake printed on the side there. In fact, it's actually painted on. But that's what it was in real life. It didn't have nameplates, it was painted on the side there. Wow. But that is just a gorgeous name, the Lady of the Lake. It makes this model sexy. In fact, this is quite possible the sexiest Bachmann locomotive I've got. Definitely. Well, and since I am definitely highly attracted to women, that is really cool. And that's the reason why I want it. Yeah, I can't stop thinking about that name enough. Right, well anyway. That's the locomotive covered in detail enough. Have you ever seen anything like it? Yeah, I can't stop looking at all them rivets. Amazing. Right. So now we'll have a look at the tender. And so here it is now. The tender is actually light, which is something that you don't see every day. But there is something about the tender that's special. Because look, the coal is removable. But it's not plastic. It's actually metal, as you can see by the silver coating there. But bizarrely, even though it's made of metal, it's not really heavy. In fact, the tender is light without the coal in, but when the coal is in, it still is light, which is different. There's also, yes, there's another NEM coupling on the back, a brake pipe, sprung buffers, of course obviously the front ones were. There's also some handrails that go on the back there, and lamp irons, and there's a lamp iron on the top there. And the frames on the tender, you have the axle boxes and the brake discs, and as you can see there's where the brake rods go. Again, the livery is spot on, and the lining is beautiful as well, and the early emblem is accurate. Then there's the detail at the front, and there's this, which is what the driver and fireman stand on, and I just love how it folds like that. It's really amazing. And there's some more rivets in here on the front of the tender, and you get all these handles at the top here. Do be careful because they are fragile. So I just thought I'd point that out to you. Make yourself aware of that. If you get this model, do be careful, because you don't want to damage this detailing. And of course you got the steps on the front and the back of the tender as well. So there's not really much to say about the tender, that's it. But wow. Apologise for the noise in the background, that's the motorway, but that can't really be helped. Oh, I forgot to mention, the firebox is covered by a firebox cover. And does that open? I'm not sure, I'm not going to try. But look at that. It's not every day where the firebox is covered with a firebox cover, which is what it's called, and that is just really a nice touch. But wow, this is definitely an amazingly detailed steam loco. In fact, I'd probably say it's more detailed than 213 Squadron, you know, the Battle of Britain. Just look at it. I'm definitely glad I've got this, because I've got nothing else like it on the layout. And also, there is a review of this locomotive in the Hornby magazine for December 2012. And here it is. And it's issue 66, and it did come with a CD, but I've put it somewhere. And if we turn to this page, now it is of a class D11, but it's not of the Lady of the Lake. It's of Butler Henderson, which is the sole survivor of this class. which it's owned by the NRM, but it's preserved at Barrow Hill, where it's on static exhibit. And I have seen this locomotive in real life. You can find it in the Barrow Hill Rail Power 2008 video. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it, even though it is a year-old video, where you will see Butler Henderson in all her glory. And it covers it in epic detail. And it does actually mention about the coal as well, and it's metal, and it's removable. So then that is actually good it came with removable coal, because I can put the real stuff in, which is what I will do. And I will be doing it to all my other models as well, because it has to be done. It has to be done, make it look more realistic. And as it says by this margin, it says, this model of Butler Henderson is beautifully detailed. But it doesn't just apply to Butler Henderson. It applies to the other Class D11s as well. Well, truly remarkable and beautiful. So all we've got left to do is to put her on the tracks and see what it's like. But first we've got to get this connected up back with the tender. Let's hear up the track. Now in this review, this time we are going to run the locomotive on this track. Because in the last review, I ran the locomotive on that line. Now this time I'm reviewing it on this line. Running it, sorry. But anyway, so let's get it on. Now first of all, do be careful of the front locomotive's wheels, because they do swing left to right very easily. But it's not a problem when it comes to putting it on the rails. So there we go. Right, so it's on the rails. And so now all that's left to do is to give it some juice. Well, just look at how smooth that's running. As you can see, here's the Merchant Navy, which was the star of the last review, and it's currently resting in what's so far is being used as a siding. But it will be used for DMUs when the station is up. But until then, it's being used as a siding. But anyway, wow, just look at that. Just look at the performance of that. That is just amazing. And since the power setting is set at 10 o'clock, she's doing really well. And here she comes, passing the Merchant Navy. In fact, the Merchant Navy is probably jealous of the Class D11. It's probably thinking, I hate that Class D11. I hate it. It's more detailed than me. Right, now the Class D11 is going to pull a train for us all. And here's what she's going to be pulling. This rake of beautiful maroon coaches. Just look at that. Do you see how nice that is? Okay. So I'll just get the D11, Lady of the Lake, to back up. She's even smooth going backwards as well. Let's just zoom in on those wheels. Look at that. Wow. That was definitely a gentle couple. See, just look at how amazing that looks, coupled to these maroon coaches. Okay, so now let's get her going. All wrong way then. Wow, just look at how slow that is. In fact, let's get her pulling away nice and slow. Just look at that ultra slow speed. And that's even slower. Wow. Could go and make myself a cup of coffee while I'm at it. If only I like coffee, which I don't. And here she comes at proper speed. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Lady of the Lake, Class D11. Get one. That's all else I've got to say. Get one. Because you'll be just as blown away as I am. Right, now just for the record, I'll show you the other model railway stuff I got for Christmas, because I'm sure there are some people out there that are curious, and I know I've mentioned these on Twitter and a journal on my blogger, but not many people have those websites. But anyway, we will leave the absolute gorgeous Lady of the Lake to run around the lake with her marine coaches, and I'll show you what else I got. So we'll start with these, which are wagons. I got 4 in total, which is this one, which is a pack of 3, and this one, it's a single one. So we'll start with showing this one. This is a bogie bolster, also known as a flatbed. Here comes the Lady of the Lake again. Let's just wait for it to pass by. Wow. And this bogie bolster is BR grey, and it comes with steel girders. Now you may be thinking, well, where's the steel girders? Well, they are just there, underneath the wagon. As you can see, yes, the plastic on the box is reflecting the t-shirt I have. But you can see them just there. Then we have these. Oh, bad focus there. Which is a pack of 3 cattle wagons. And these ones are special because they are weathered, or as some websites like Hatton's call them, extremely special weathered. Because they're not just weathered, they also have rust patches on them, and I do believe chalk marks, and also, see these here, and here, these are actually new planks of wood. And these are basically what they would have looked like in regular service, because cattle wagons in those days, they were used quite a lot. And so they would have had replaced planks, and they would have got weathered, and they would have had rust patches on them. So that's quite good. Next we have these, which are made by a company which I think is pronounced either Priza or Preza, I'm not sure. But it's a company I never heard of before. I didn't even know they existed until now. And before I opened up on Christmas Day, I was like, what are these? But I know what they are now. So the first pack I had, so I got a pack of 4. This is of seated passengers. 3 of them come with benches. And I know that some of them have their back towards the camera, which is very rude. But these are going to come in really useful for when the station is up. So wow, that will look really cool. And then we have this pack, which I suppose is standing passengers. And I just love how 2 of them resemble, one resembles a bride and the other resembles a groom. In fact, that's me in years to come, that is. That just had to be said. Then we have this, which looks like a vicar. In fact, he needs a name. He needs a name. So when the church is up, we'll put him on and he needs a name. So, do comment. Then we have these, which are horses, which is very nice. Every layout must have horses. And then we have these, which, well, actually, it's not made by Preza at all. It's made by Knock. But I'm just going to guess it's similar to Preza anyway, so I suppose it's still is Preza or Prize or whatever. And you basically got a washing line there with washing on. I'm not too sure what that is, I think it's a towel rack. And to get like a hose pipe, garden tools like brooms, a few buckets, watering cans, and a lawnmower. Oh bloody hell, an old-fashioned one. And a wheelbarrow. In fact, actually, that's an idea. The bride can do the lawn mowing, and the groom can hang the washing up on the line. So that's really useful then, that is it. Okay, then we have a few scout dial items. First we have a greenhouse, which I suppose is a modern one, but it looks very nice, as you can see. Just look at that. And I can't wait to open it up, which I won't yet. Not till the scenery starts getting on the layout. And this will look really cool in the back garden. And then we have gravestones for the church, which is currently in for repairs because it got a little bit bent, the steeple, if I can put it very nicely. But it is going to be repaired and it can be fixed. And these Scaledale gravestones are good because on the last layout, when we were at the church, we didn't really use Scaledale gravestones. We basically got pieces of plastic card and cut them into shapes of gravestones and painted them grey, which they worked, but they weren't as good as these ones. So that is very cool. Then we have some Metcalfe buildings. As you can see, I got a pack of 6, even though they're separate ones. So this one is low relief red brick terraced shop fronts. One is Lizzie's Fish and Chips. And there's a model shop. How ironic is that? A model shop going on a model railway. And there's Robson Bros, Joiners and Undertakers, and Brown's Bakery. I wonder if that's Gordon Brown's Bakery. Just a joke. Then we have a red brick terraced house front. So that is very nice. Looks like those that you see on the television programmes, doesn't it? Then we get a village shop and cafe. As you can see there. Which is, was a little sign that says local man eats live sheep. Cannibalism. And there's the famous Walls ice cream logo there. So that is really good. And I can't wait to build these and have them on the layout because they'll look really awesome. Then we have a service station. Oh yeah. That looks like the car from one of the Herbie films, that does. But anyway, a service station. Wow. And it's Shell as well. No, it's not a Shell. It's the company, Shell. Then there's a coaching inn, whatever that is. But I'm guessing it's a pub of some sort, but I'm not 100% sure. And it's really nice. Yeah, I think it's a pub actually, because the Swan, the Anchor Inn, King Arms, they sound like pub names to me. And then we have this, Low Relief Pub and Shops. As you can see, we've got the Crane and Anchor, Hall and Rawlinson, and George Savage and Son. So that's those. And then finally we come to the bags of scatter. Now I've got a lot of bags of scatter, as you can see. Now I won't go into too much detail on these, but 2 of them of which, this one and this one, are bags of coal. Wow. And it's real coal as well. And I'm going to be using these to put in the tenders of the locomotives. So these are going to be coming very handy. I suppose you could put piles of coal on steam engine sheds, but I think they'll have a better use on your locomotives, and that's what I'll use them for, because it'll put them to good use. And the other stuff, well, it's grass, spring green, or pastry green, or even tarmac, and moorland mixture, and all the others. And that sums it up for this video. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon.